Words and Music is about songs, and it's about songwriters, people with stories to tell and the gift to make us believers. This week's guest is the fine songwriter with a big voice and a bigger heart, Cleveland's Tracy Marie. Words and Music. If we believe the singer, we'll believe the song. Tracy Marie is the whole singer-songwriter package. Her songs are compelling, her voice is strong, and she makes you believe. On stage and off, she's always got something good going on. Tracy Marie, welcome back.
Thank you.
This is great to have you on our show the second time. Before you were part of the singer-songwriter package.
Yay.
And now you are the package.
All right. I'll take it.
So,
Thanks.
Actually, we haven't seen you here for, we talked about backstage probably about 7 or 8 years. So, what's going on?
The same old thing, you know, just playing music, writing music, and getting out there and networking with other talented musicians. And I've been writing songs with new people, so that's been pretty nice.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you've got a couple of records out, a couple of CDs out, but you haven't had any new stuff out for a while, but you've been writing all along?
I've been writing and recording, and my newer stuff is just up on the internet. I haven't officially put out the release yet, but I'm planning on doing that this year, so excited about that. No
wine before it's time.
Exactly.
Well, I see your name out everywhere. You play out in the local Cleveland area clubs a lot. How's that going for you?
Great. I like it. I think Cleveland's a great market for local music.
Hear, hear.
Hey, yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things that I've noticed, you know, through the years, you're always working with really good players. How do you? There must be something about you that really good players like. How about singer and song?
I hope so. I hope so. Well, I call myself a musician snob.
What does that mean?
Because I go out there and I find the busiest, best, hardest working professional musician, and I'm like, that's someone I want to work with. And they're just so busy, so I have to find like 3 or 4 of those people so that I can, you know, go through my little Rolodex and call all of them for upcoming performances and just say, hey, you're great, I want to play with you. And most of the time they're like, well, I already have a gig, of course, because they're talented and everybody else wants to play with them.
Okay.
So I have to go to the next one down the line.
But every time I see you, you're with some good cats.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate there that I get to play with some of the best musicians in town.
Your music goes a lot of different areas. In fact, I think we've had this conversation before. You don't know who you are or what you're going to do next. I mean, even on the MySpace site, you got 5 tunes or so on the MySpace, and every one is a little bit different. Tell me how that comes to happen.
Well, I'm a songwriter, so I consider myself an artist, but a lot of artists, you know, the famous performing artists on MTV or on the Grammys and things like that, they're put into a market. They have a certain style they stick with.
Even though they may be wanting to branch out from that.
Right. Well, they have people that are saying, well, you got to have that market and you got to stick with your market because this is your audience. You know, I'm writing all different styles. I'm a fan of all different styles of music, and so, you know, if I'm writing a song and I write out the lyrics first, and it seems like that should be a country song, then that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a country song. Or if I'm writing something and I say, oh, well, that should be, you know, pretty bluesy, then it's going to end up bluesy. You know, or sometimes I'll start with the music first. But most of the time, it's what I'm learning at the time. For example, you know, I was in guitar lessons, and my instructor showed me a new chord progression, and it was kind of like, you know, a slow, bluesy thing. So I said, well, that's a really cool chord progression, and I kind of put a little twist on the standard chord progression and made it into a blues song.
Ah, okay. So do you still take lessons from people, or?
On occasion. I believe that even the strongest professionals, like you have professional athletes that have coaches, and you know, even Celine Dion said, you know, she has a vocal coach, and so yeah, I'm always constantly learning and beefing up my game if I can.
I've been playing, you know, keyboards, you know, for many decades, and I take lessons sometimes from our good friend Jackie Warren, who's one of the monster players.
She's amazing.
Yeah, and you can always learn from somebody, or maybe you might go for a specific reason. I mean, in your case, you know, you're learning different progressions, which, you know, instantly became a song that you would have not written had you not been going.
Right.
As far as writing with people, how different is that than writing by yourself?
It's different in a good way, in
Explain.
a better way.
Okay.
Because, for example, you know, you get a new style. You know, if you take the two writers and you put their two cents in, their 4 cents in, then you're gonna get something that is different. You know, I get my style in there, this person gets their style in there, and then if we write more than one song, then there's some sort of, you know, common theme of style. It's really interesting how that works out. If I get lyrics from a poet and then I write music to it, it's not like anything I would have ever thought of on my own.
Ah, right. So it's not really, it wouldn't necessarily be autobiographical, but it might be, obviously it's something that's going to be dear to you because you're going to have to deliver it.
Well, it's more musically, really. It's more musically because I get the lyrics from my friend Sherry, for example. We wrote 2 songs together. She sends me the lyrics, and I say, well, I like that. I like the theme of the song. I could make this part of the poem into a chorus. And then I have to figure out a way to rhythmically fit her words, which might not have been written originally to be a song, into a chorus that's catchy and that could be repeated and that could have a lyrical hook and something that other people could relate to.
The songs that you co-write, are you able to, where you didn't do the lyrics, are you able to internalize them? I mean, do you do some of those on stage?
Oh yeah, I've released them. We did some of them on Crooked River Groove, as a matter of fact. So
there's really no difference when you're performing where it came from?
Not
as
really.
a singer, see, because then, you know, you're talking about being a songwriter. Well, you're sitting in a room, you're writing a song. You don't want it to be like the last song, so you're writing, okay, well, that was a country song, now I'm going to write a blues song or something. I mean, that's kind of what you're saying, right? But then the performance is a totally different deal, isn't it?
Well, it's different to get the lyrics and write the song to the lyrics because I'm writing the melody and the music. Now, if somebody gives me the music and they're like, look, here, my band put this thing together and all we have is, you know, some guitar riffs and here's where the verse would be. Even if it's just the same riff through the whole song, I could write words, a verse, and a chorus, and a bridge over that same riff, the same 3 chords, the whole way through the song. So that would be a different thing than if I got the lyrics and then I had free range to do whatever I want with the music and the arrangement.
How often, like in a week's time, do you find yourself writing? I mean, you have a busy schedule.
It comes in spurts. I do need to be usually I need to be in a situation where I'm sitting in a quiet room by myself to write a song just to be the inspiration, to get the inspiration to write a song. I'm sitting in a room, I'm by myself, I have a lot of free time, you know. Sometimes if...
Oh, you have free time? Well, we can do something about that.
Well, if I have free time, these are the circumstances I would have under if I was to be in the ideal songwriting circumstance. But sometimes songs come to me like in 2 seconds. Like I just, you know, I think of the idea for the song and then I grab my guitar and, you know, the hook for the song comes out and then it's just a matter of writing the extra lyrics for the second chorus or the second verse rather. So yeah, I just, you know, there's many different circumstances. My second album, more than half of the song was written in 1 week. More than half of the songs were written in 1 week.
Wow. Okay, so you have your friend Sherry, who is a lyricist, and then you come in with melody and structure, you know, to that. Who else do you write with?
I write with Michael Barrick, who is the bass player that played with me last week on Crooked River Groove.
See, if you have a really good guy writing a song with you, he'll be more apt to take your gig.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
So we'll talk about that later when we talk about the business and how to connive the best players. You know, you get them on the hook. Okay. Well, okay. The song "Breakfast in Bed," a little kind of bouncy, bluesy number. You wrote that with him?
No, that one's one of mine.
Okay.
I wrote that a long time ago. I actually wrote that when I was still a teenager. And the reason that I wrote that is because everybody was accusing me of being like this sad, love songwriter. And all I knew how to do was write all these sad love songs. And, all your music is just makes us want to cry. And so I said, well.
Was that true, though? I mean.
Yeah, kind of. Because I was only really playing, for the most part, I was writing my songs on piano. And, I was just like, I was a torn, teenage, broken-hearted girl, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I would get emotional is when I wanted to write songs. And usually the highest emotions were when you were breaking up with, a significant other or somebody that you really cared about was upsetting you,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so then Breakfast in Bed, I said, well, I want to write like a little jingle kind of song that's funny and happy and about something good.
So, did they take it well? Did they think different of you?
I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do you even hang out with those people anymore?
I don't know. It might have been my mom.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly.
That's good. So,
Gotta please Mom.
So this particular song, "Breakfast in Bed," is, lyrically, would it be something that you would have written now, or just, could you have, sometimes songwriters can get into a period. I know I have. I look back at a song that I wrote, 20 years ago or whatever, even longer, and I probably could not write that song today. Just maybe not even lyrically, but stylistically. I could still sing it, but I couldn't write it. Could you write that song today?
Let me give you kind of a out there analogy. I think of my songs as children, like the children that I haven't had yet. And so it's like if I asked you, would you have been able to have that same kid again? Well, no, you would have a kid that would have the same genetic value, but you wouldn't have the same exact kid with the same exact color hair and the same exact color eyes and the same exact face. But the next song is still going to be from me, and so the styles change so much, so it's hard to answer that question because, I think that I could rewrite the songs that I wrote in the same kind of idea. But the thing that's different is that what I've been going through, what I went through when I wrote that song to make that content. I wrote it about something that was happening to me at that time.
And now you got some really good blues cats to play it with you too.
Exactly.
So that's good.
Can't complain about that once again.
Not at all. Well, hey, will you play "Breakfast in Bed"
I
for
will.
us? And I'll take mine over easy.
Okay. I like mine scrambled.
Scrambled's good.
Actually, that's not true. But I put it in the song. I don't know why. It fit.
You're the songwriter. It's your rules.
You gonna play with me?
Sure. That'd be good.
Scrambled eggs is what I like to eat for breakfast in bed in the morning. And coffee with cream I do me for breakfast in bed in the morning. I like the juice, press the squeeze, and darling, if you please, pour plenty of sugar on my French toast. Don't forget the bacon, how about making sweet love to me? Forget the faking, how about making sweet love to me? Butter the bread or jelly instead, for breakfast in bed in the morning. All on a tray, or having your way, but I won't breakfast in bed in the morning. Yeah.
Over 700,000 people have begun their futures at Cuyahoga Community College.
I went into the creative arts. Ideas are my thing.
Video,
design,
The internet.
And Tracy will inspire you, empower you, and equip you for success.
I found my way along the way.
Explore the world of creative arts at Tri-C. All you need is imagination.
And your future's in your hands.
Don't let the next semester start without you. Tri-C, where futures begin.
You are one of the busiest musicians I know. You say that the people that you want to play with and play with you are busy. You're on the go all the time. I have no idea how you do it. I really don't. I know now that you're in school full time, you're gigging a lot, you do a whole lot of community work, and one of the things that you've brought to the community has been and are really instrumental and supportive is Breast Fest. Can you tell us what Breast Fest is and how you got involved and what do you want to do with it?
Well, Breast Fest is an annual concert event that happens during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have the event in order to bring attention to the cause. We want women to be reminded, that this is a very common disease. You're not immune, even if it's not in your family. Just a reminder to say, hey, you got to go out there and get your mammograms. You got to get checked. You got to follow up with your doctor and make sure you're doing everything to get detected early and prevent it. And the women that perform are all local regional musicians.
Mm-hmm. Must not be that difficult to round up people who are kindred to that, to breast cancer awareness.
It's not. Unfortunately, a lot of the women performers, when I call them and say, would you like to be part of this event, say, well, of course, my mother had, or my grandmother or my aunt, or I have to be part of this because I have to support, the prevention and the early detection of this disease because my mother had breast cancer. She got early detection and now she's good. So I want to help support that. And it's unfortunate that it's so common, but it really is. Like everybody that I talk to it's touched their lives in one way or another. So,
another thing that you're doing, which really is impressing me, and it will impress a lot of other people later on down the line, is that you're a full-time recording arts student. Okay, so you're a gigging musician. Of course, a lot of people, well, I need to know how to record my music. What are you going to do with your degree?
With my degree?
Yeah, what do you...
Probably hang it on the wall.
Okay, well, what are you going to do with the knowledge that you got with the degree? I mean, do you have a professional plan? What's the angle?
Well, I hope to be able to use the knowledge that I have to help some of the musicians that haven't had the opportunity to release any of their great original music in this area. Recording is really expensive, and I know personally as a recording artist that going into the studio and not really knowing anything about it is a disadvantage. So as a recording artist, it'll help me to go in there and be able to explain as a producer what I want out of the recording and the mix and the final product, and also to be able to sit behind that board with one of these many talented musicians that I've had the blessing to share music with, to be able to say, hey, you're a really great guitar player. Let's go in there and get you a solo album. You know, let's go in there and just record you and just release it, you know. And, you know, hopefully they'll be able to pay me to do it. But if I really am into the music, then I'm going to do it because of the music.
Back to your own music. The Old Oak Tree is a song that you've been singing for a while. How did you come to write that song?
This song is it's kind of about two things at the same time. I had a young man in my life, and he lived kind of far away, and he came into town, and he was staying with me for a short period of time, and he got a phone call one day, and on his phone call, apparently a touring group needed a bass player, and he was a musician, is still, and they drove up through town and picked him up and drove off and took him on tour that day. Phone rang, he was walking out down to the main road, and the tour bus pulled up, and he got on the tour bus, and it was gone. And I said, oh my gosh, you know.
That
okay.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, see you later.
Have a nice life.
So the same day, there was a tree being cut down across the street from my house, and it was a very old, big tree that provided much of the shade that would have been shade on my house. And I like trees, and it was painful to me.
So I like trees, I like guys,
Yeah.
and then they both go on the same day, right?
Right. It was painful to me to watch this tree getting cut down. And I said, you know what? The tree is similar to him. And I'm saying, you know, the tree is similar to him because he was a little bit younger than me, is a little bit younger. And I said, you know, he's kind of young and wild and free, and the tree wasn't that old for in tree world, and you know, he's going to be back because his family lives in Ohio, so his roots are here, and the tree has roots here too, and you know, even though he's growing and bending and changing, he's still going to be close to me. You know, he's still going to be. I still can get a hold of him. You know, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, that's basically, I decided to write this song called The Old Oak Tree, because he reminded me of an old oak tree even though he was really young.
So, how about it?
Okay.
The Old Oak Tree. I like the song even more now that I know the story.
Now you're going to listen to it again.
I am.
Okay. You are young and wild and free. You are wise to a certain degree, surrounded by roots no one can see. You grow in all directions, staying close to me. Yeah, you are young and wild and free, but you got roots no one can see. You've been with the wind, staying close to me. You live your life like the old oak tree.
Tracy Marie, thanks for coming back on our Words and Music little hangout and sharing your life since we saw you last.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people on the World Wide Web or otherwise find Tracy Marie?
TracyMarie.com.
TracyMarie.com.
Or myspace.com/thelittlequeen.
And
Or you could just Google me.
There you go. And by golly, you will let them know.
I will.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Go
Thanks
play
for having me. I had a blast.
Go write a song. We'll write one together.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. I'm Tommy Wiggins, and you're watching Words and Music. We've been getting reacquainted with our good friend, the Little Queen, Tracy Marie. Be sure to join us next time for another round of Words and Music.